Hello everybody and welcome to Wise Exotics. I'm your host Trevor and today we'll be discussing watering methods for Nepenthes. This is a video spurred by quite a few inquiries on multiple methods or what are available or maybe automatic systems, and I thought I'd cover them for my own experience with some of those. Now, Nepenthes are epiphytical in nature for the most part. They like to have clean water, very clean water, reverse osmosis, distilled, which are readily available. I get mine from a water store that's like 5 minutes away from me. They're really nice, family owned and operated. I don't mind supporting them, and I get really clean water, and as you can see, my plants are thriving. I really do need to give them a little picture that says, thank you for keeping us alive, or something. Anyway, in nature, these plants live in forests and jungles. A lot of them will get sometimes heavy rainfall or no rainfall, but for the most part, there's a lot of humidity, so there's a lot of moisture just naturally in the air, as well as fog and or clouds, depending on the location and or elevation. Some of these are up in cliff faces or up in the mountains, and they get fog or a mist that hits them maybe once or twice a day, and that's it, but they're able to retain it. There's actually a hypothesis that states the more toothy Nepenthes, such as Edwardsiana, Velosa, and the like, actually have those teeth as more of a radiator water collecting fin, which is really an interesting evolutionary adaptation. That's to force collect water that goes by them into the traps to help maintain their water level even through dry spells. It's a really interesting concept. Anyway, your typical hand pump or just little spray bottles like this going, on the plants is perfectly fine. It doesn't hurt them and they enjoy it. Now, you need to make sure the water isn't just sitting there. You don't want to spray or water these plants and then they just have water on their growth tip, the crown area, which is the area surrounding the growth tip, like on that specimen. It would be the two gaps in the leaves that drain down. You don't want that. You can get crown rot that way. If the roots remain too wet too long, it breeds bacteria that will start eating your roots, which gives you root rot. And nobody wants that. It's not a fun experience. Originally, when I had my little plastic greenhouse outside, I did have an automatic misting system. There are drip feeds. There are a lot of systems like that. What you'll have to factor when you do those is how you're going to supply the water, either through a pump or like I did, which is I had a motor servo pump that had a tube that went into one of these water jugs via an air stone type of thing. It floated in the water and it drained the water through there and sprayed in time intervals at specific amounts. I actually used ones for chameleon tanks or those type of reptile ones, and it worked perfectly fine. I had it set for like 3 seconds of spray, and I would do that at 8 in the morning, and on hot days maybe 2 to 3 times a day, depending on the time of year. Sometimes we had really hot weeks, and I had to go out there and manually adjust it. You could check your schedule on your phone or the weather app or whatever and see, what is the weather going to look like this week, and go, okay, it looks like it'll be a pretty hotter, so I need to dial my setup a bit. Same thing with drip irrigation. You need to tune and kind of figure out how much water can drip into that. Now, I've seen people where they put them into each individual pots. That totally works. Or they use the tray method where they put the water into the tray, and the tray waters and the humidity evaporates up and, again, waters and humidifies the plants. The tray method is probably the simplest and easiest for most people to do, honestly speaking. Is you get a tray, you get what's called an eggshell crate. The eggshell crate is something you can get at most ceiling tile places, Lowe's, Home Depot, hardware stores, that type of thing. Most of them have ceiling tile. Eggshell crate is basically these little, if I can find a plant I can pop out, like that. So you can look in, you can see how much water is left in the tray. I usually let them drain a bit because I don't like my plants to remain too wet. Nepenthes do like to dry a bit because they've adapted naturally to do that, so I just let them do that. The risk is you can get some of their pots a little too dry, so sometimes I'll have like 1 or 2 specimens where everybody's still a little humid and that one's just dry as a bone. So I will then take my little watering can and I'll just water that one in the pot. The other factor you can try to do is radiant humidity. So having a humidifier that just fogs up the area is another way to volumetrically increase the water in the air near the plant, so you don't have to water as much, and it maintains a relative humidity. I believe the lowest most species can handle is around 65% to even 50%, but that's not going to let them pitcher as much. Typically, I'm going to do about 75% is what I have this humidifier set to, and or on hotter days I bump it up to 80% because the water in the trays will evaporate so quickly. I need a system that's going to keep pumping. Now this one actually emits a fog layer that this one can actually humidify this entire room, and I let it do so and it works fine. So right now the humidity in this room is 77%, 78%, and that's passive. That's just the humidity from the trays coming out. This thing is not emitting because you would see the nice fog that it emits on both ends of its little spouts here. But typically, if you're going to do an automated system, I would recommend either get a drip feed and drip feed the trays. You would have to water or know your watering schedule, like how often that dries out or how quickly that dries out. So maybe have it water every other day or every 2 days. Misting, I would usually say at least through the morning. There are certain species that do not like water on their leaves, and it's a type of, I believe they call it a stigma or something to that effect. I knew it a while ago, but not offhand. Currently, what occurs is the water will remain on the leaves, and that can breed bacteria or mold. And the theory behind why some of these species has that is basically it'll react badly to water that stays too long. It'll create like a blister that swells just a bit on the leaf. They're not very pretty to look at, but it'll force the water droplet off the leaf, preventing mold and other possible contaminants from affecting the plant. So there isn't evolutionary adaptation reason to why they do it. It's just not fun, or why it doesn't actually hurt the plant. It's just something they react to over a long period of time. Not to mention you can have root rot and other fun stuff developing, mold and whatnot. So the main purpose of this video is to just cover that, yes, there are multiple ways. You can be very inventive with humidifiers, rainfall, simulated rainfall, and the like, but honestly, hand pump sprays work, water trays work, humidifiers work. There's plenty of those reptile ones. I know mine was fine. If you need that specific one I used, it was very simple. You just get one of these 5-gallon jugs, sit it somewhere else, and you pipe it over to the pump. Then you set up the misters. Like if I was to do it in here, just an example, I would hook one right here so it would spray kind of like at an angle to hit both of these, and then maybe one there so it would spray right here. Keep that. But the humidifier, in my opinion, covers that and reduce the risk of root rot significantly for me since I've done it. So hopefully this helpful watering tip video is helpful and beneficial to those who are thinking or trying to ponder ways to better take care of their plants, or what are some alternatives that might be more beneficial and or automated to help with their daily life schedule so it's not so tedious. Best regards all, Trevor out.